Hello, today we are talking about the past perfect tense. So I have here the structure, which is the subject. Subject plus head. Head is part of the formula. Subject plus head, and then we have the past participle. This is the past participle, and finally we have the object. This is the structure of the past perfect tense. Now let's just analyze some examples we have here today. I have by the time the sun rose. Okay, this is not the past perfect. By the time the sun rose, they had already eaten. See, this is the past perfect. They had already eaten breakfast. They had eaten breakfast. This is the past perfect. They had eaten breakfast. We have they, which is the subject. We have had. Here we have had, and then the past participle of the main verb, eat, eaten, the past participle, eaten. Breakfast is the object. We have sentence 2, Sarah had left. This is the past perfect. Sarah had left the house, right? We have Sarah is the subject, had is here, and then we have the past participle, left. Great. So we have the past perfect tense. Sarah had left the house when John arrived. We have our third example. By the time the police arrived, the thieves had escaped. The thieves, the subject. The thieves had escaped, past participle. So here is our third past perfect tense. And then we finally have our last example. My battery had died. Great, my battery, subject, had died, past participle. My battery had died when my boss called me. Very simple. Now, one thing you may have noticed, is that we always have the past simple tense together with the past perfect tense. By the time the sun rose, okay? Rose. Rose is the past simple. By the time the sun rose, they had already eaten breakfast. The past perfect tense is generally defined as being the past of the past. So we have here two actions. The first action is eat breakfast. The second action is the sun rising. So by the time the sun rose, they had already eaten breakfast. They ate breakfast first and then the sun rose. By the time the sun rose, they had already eaten breakfast. Two options, okay? We have the past simple and then we have the past perfect. So Sarah leaves the house and then John arrives. Sarah leaves first and then John arrives. Second action, okay? Sarah had left the house when John arrived. The third example, by the time the police arrived, okay, that the police arrived is past simple. By the time the police arrived, the thieves had escaped. The police took longer to arrive. They took longer to arrive. So the thieves escaped first, and then the police arrived. You see, by the time the police arrived, the thieves had escaped. We have here the past simple, police arrived, and then we have the past perfect, thieves had escaped. We finally have my battery had died. My battery had died when my boss called me. So the battery dies first, and then my boss calls me. The battery dies first action. My boss calls me second action. My battery had died, past perfect. My boss calls me, past simple. The past perfect tense is defined as being the past of the past. Let's just read all these examples once again to try to understand them better, okay? By the time the sun rose, they had already eaten breakfast. By the time the sun rose, they had already eaten breakfast. Sarah had left the house when John arrived. Sarah had left the house when John arrived. By the time the police arrived, the thieves had escaped. By the time the police arrived, the thieves had escaped. My battery had died when my boss called me. My battery had died when my boss called me. Very simple. This is what? The past perfect tense. The past of the past.